Hello, this is Edith Newmeyer, and I am the author of the book, The Mystery of Adam. Today, I want to talk about the two witnesses. And this is the first time I've actually written something out. I usually just go by the Holy Spirit guiding me in what He wants me to present to you. And today, I was kind of answering some questions on the internet on one of my groups, and so I actually have it written down. And I have collected this information for a while because I'm just tired of these speculations, and I think I have done. Have I done a video before? I don't know, but I wanted to collect information about these two witnesses so we have facts and we don't always speculate. You know that people always think, oh, it is Elijah, it is Enoch, it is Moses. But really, do they have proof, or is it just plain speculation? So let's look at today what we really know about these two witnesses. And then maybe we can find out a little more who it may be. Maybe. Anyways, so I'm trying to kind of eliminate some of the confusion here. It's important to understand that when God tries to tell us something very important, He always uses two witnesses. Like, for instance, He uses the Old Testament and the New Testament. At least two witnesses, okay, to show us in Scripture what He is trying to teach us. Sometimes He uses, of course, a whole bunch, but I would think at least two witnesses are very, very important. And so it is with these two witnesses that He is bringing on the scene, okay, and we're going to find out when He is going to bring these on the scene, okay, when they are appearing. It does not mean it's only two people, because see, there's two lampstands and there's two olive trees. That in itself are two groups of people. Lampstands stand for the Gentiles, or the church of the Gentiles. Okay, that's what lampstands stand for. We know that from Revelation. The letters to the 7 letters to the churches, and that stands for the lamp stands. Then we have olive trees, symbolic for the Jews or the Hebrews. Okay, for the Jews or the Hebrews. So we have two groups of people, the Hebrew people or the Jews, and the Gentile people. Those are two groups. They're not just two people. There are two witnesses, which in itself are, of course, that's what God uses. And then there's two olive trees and two lampstands, which again are two witnesses. So these people that will witness during a certain period of time is most likely not just two individual people. Now, let's also kind of look at, or at first, let's look at when these people will come on the scene. Okay? Now, first, who are the witnesses of God or Messiah right now? Okay? Who is God using to witness, to be a witness for Messiah, for the gospel, right? Because we are presenting the gospel right now to the world. And who is responsible for presenting the gospel right now? Of course, it's the church. The church is mainly made up of Gentiles, okay? So the Gentiles are right now bringing forth the gospel to the world. So these two witnesses that are coming on the scene, we will see, are not part of that group of people. Okay? It's very easy to understand. God does not need right now those two witnesses because we, the church as a whole, are witnesses. Okay? So now let's look, when are these two witnesses coming on the scene? Okay? They're coming on the scene in Revelation 11. Revelation 11 is at the end of the seven trumpets. The seven trumpets, which is the wrath of God, okay, the wrath of God, starts in chapter 8, okay, chapter 8, and ends in chapter actually 11. And so this is when these witnesses come on the scene. Okay, right at the end. So I'm assuming, and of course, I think it's a good assumption, because if we are continue to collect data about this, it's most likely a very good assumption that these people come on the scene, these witnesses, or these two groups of witnesses for Messiah will come on the scene during the wrath of God. Remember, one of the facts I mentioned is that right now the church is the witness. We are the witness right now. But when we are gone during the rapture, okay, which is before the wrath of God, which we will see in chapter 7 of Revelation, and you can go there. It says that the multitude is in heaven. Okay, look at that again. The multitude in chapter 7 of Revelation is in heaven, and those are the raptured saints. Okay, so they're in heaven before the wrath of God starts. We know, according to Paul in 1 Thessalonians 5, that we will not go through the wrath of God. You can also see that in, Isaiah 26:19 through 21. We don't go through the wrath. Jesus right now is preparing a place for us. And he will come when he is finished and take us there. And that is before the wrath of God. Then there's going to be the wrath of God. And the enemies of God and the non-believers will be killed and destroyed. Okay? And then, of course, the millennium. So, here is another fact, that these witnesses that will come on the scene cannot be Elijah, Enoch, or Moses. It cannot be anybody, any of the saints before the rapture. Because all saints from the time of Adam, that means all believers in Messiah from the time of Adam, will be part of the rapture. The rapture is twofold. First, in a twinkling of an eye, all believers, dead or alive, will be changed. Okay? So, if we are changed, and if we get a new body, we cannot come back here and be killed again. Okay? It's not working. We don't have a human body anymore. So, we cannot be killed. Okay? Just like Jesus, when he had his transformed body, the body was different. It was not a physical body like we have it right now. He could go through doors. He could eat, but he didn't have to. It was a transformed body, and we will have transformed bodies. Okay? So all saints, all believers. See, some people are very confused about that. They think that only the church or the Gentile church, like from the time of Pentecost, belong to the church. But that is not right. That's a false assumption. Jesus, when he died on the cross, and he was dead. He went to Hades to get out all the believers from the past, from the Old Testament, into heaven. Okay? Into heaven. Because they're part of the assembly of the believer, which is church as well. They're all part of this new temple that Jesus is creating. And they're the first ones. They were the first ones, the first stones that were used in the temple. Of course, Jesus being the chief cornerstone. So you can read that in Ephesians 2 if you want to. Okay? So now these raptured saints, the bride of Christ, cannot be these witnesses anymore. As you know, in Revelation 7, if you looked it up, you can look that up right now, there's two groups of people. First, 144,000 are sealed. These are people that will actually have to go through the wrath of God. And then this group of people, the second part is about the group of people, the multitude that are now in heaven, okay? And if you read that description, it is the description of the saints. It's the description of the bride of Christ, okay? So they're in heaven, raptured. The 144,000 are symbolic for the people now that are going through the wrath of God. Okay? So, out of these 144,000, okay, we will have witnesses for Messiah during the wrath of God. Okay? Because the church is gone. So the church is not a witness anymore. Now this group of people, these two witnesses, are becoming the witnesses for Messiah. Unfortunately, these 144,000 could be out of these 5 foolish virgins that did not have any oil when the rapture happened. And so they were left behind, and they were realizing, whoa, what did I do? I missed the rapture. And so they may be waking up and saying, wow, what have we done? Okay? It could be also people that are finally realizing, well, this was the rapture. These people are gone. And they're realizing, wow, Messiah did come, and the church is gone, and whoa, we made a mistake. We made a horrible mistake. The bride is gone. We can never, ever be part of the bride again. But they will know that they can be part of the resurrected saints, or not saints, because they're not saints. I call saints actually the bride of Christ. The people that will start believing in Messiah after the rapture can only be part of the human beings, okay, that are now repopulating or serving or being ruled over by Messiah and his bride. So they are really here, the servants or the people of the kingdom of Messiah. Okay? Which is kind of sad, because you should not have to do that. You should not have to miss the rapture. That's not a good thing. Okay? So I want to just warn you. Don't be one of those foolish virgins that will have to make it into the wrath of God. But if you are realizing, wait a minute, there's a lot of people gone, what happened? And then realize, wait a minute, I was one of those foolish virgins, there is still hope. Okay, the hope is that you either going to be killed during that time and be resurrected with a human body, or that you will make it through it and you will continue to live during the millennium. Okay? And you will be part of these two witnesses. Okay? Now, these two witnesses will witness all over the world. But it says that these two witnesses mainly were killed in Jerusalem. Okay? That for me is interesting in itself. Because, of course, it says 144,000 from all the tribes of Israel. And so lots of Jews will be most likely part of these witnesses. But not only, because the 10 tribes are mixed within the Gentiles anyways. And because they're mixed with the Gentiles, that means the Gentiles are the ones that will accept Messiah. Because only God can see right now who is really from those 10 tribes that are kind of lost. Okay? Only God can see that. But these will be also part of the 144,000 that, of course, are saved or kept, sealed. Yeah, they will have a seal. It doesn't mean they're not going to be killed. It just means they're sealed. So when the wrath of God is over, they will be still alive or they will be resurrected. And that's why they're sealed. Okay? So that's very important that we do understand that, and that we understand that in order to see who these two witnesses are. So no, these two witnesses cannot be Elijah, Enoch, or Moses, because all three of them will have a new body. Even if they did not die and they were resurrected or they were taken up with their bodies, okay, they were changed. Okay, they don't have, either they have still a body and they will be changed the same time in a twinkling of an eye when all the rest of the saints will be changed, or they were already changed when they were taken up into heaven, which most likely is actually the case. Okay, that yes, they were taken, but at the same time, their body was already changed in a twinkling of an eye. See, Jesus's body was changed in a twinkling of an eye. Okay? And they do say that Jesus is the first fruit. But then again, see, time does not exist, I believe, after we leave this world, this three-dimensional world. We call it three-dimension. Some people say four-dimension because there's time. Okay? But when we're leaving, when we leave our body behind and we are souls only, we go into another dimension or heaven. Time doesn't exist, at least not the time that we know here. Okay? So we cannot, think that time will continue. Time will continue on this earth. Okay? But I don't think that time will continue in heaven. It will be very, very different. So that's all important to understand when people speculate about these two witnesses. Okay? So let's see what else I said here. Now, it appears that these two witnesses, or these two groups of witnesses, minister for 3.5 years, because a lot of people bring that up. Okay, those 3.5 years. And of course, they are confusing that, or they're saying these 3.5 years have something to do with the Great Tribulation, because I want to bring that up as well. Because every time I ask, show me where do we find Great Tribulation, people always come up with these 3.5 years. Okay, but it never says 3.5 years of tribulation. It never does. But these people think that these two witnesses or two groups of witnesses are actually witnesses during these, what they call Great Tribulation. Now, this Great Tribulation, I have taught that so many times, doesn't even exist. Great Tribulation happens during the time of the Gentiles, okay? Which is from the time that Gentiles got the gospel to the rapture. That's the time of the Gentiles. And during that time, there will be Great Tribulation. If you look in Revelation 7, the multitude came out of Great Tribulation. Okay? The whole multitude, all the saints came out of Great Tribulation. Okay? So no, these witnesses are not here during Great Tribulation, because that is the time of the Gentiles, and that is the time when we are supposed to present the gospel to the world. We are the witnesses for the gospel during that time. So then when we go into the wrath of God, that could be 3.5 years. And these witnesses, these two groups of people, are actually witnessing for 3.5 years. So the wrath of God may last 3.5 years. Okay? From the time the rapture happens all the way to the end of the wrath of God. And in Revelation 20, the thrones are put up, and on the thrones sit the saints, or the church, or the temple. Okay? The bride of Christ. They sit on the thrones, because they receive rulership with Christ. We can see that in Daniel 7, okay, almost at the end, and I don't have it with me, I don't have it in front of me right now, but in Daniel 7, this last beast, when it is destroyed, okay, the saints will take over. And it's the second time it is described, the beast is described, you will see that the saints are taken over. The first time the beast is described, Messiah will take over rulership and the kingdom. And then the second time it's described and explained, you will see that the saints actually will take over the rulership of the world. Okay, so you can see that they are going to sit on those thrones. Okay, we see the same thrones also the first time when Messiah takes over rule. But Messiah doesn't have to sit on thrones, does he? He's only sitting on one throne. But the other thrones are his bride, which later on then are being described, okay, as part of co-rulers. All right? So this is how long these or these two groups are going to witness to the world. And they are being killed in Jerusalem. Not only Jerusalem. I just don't think it's just only Jerusalem. They will not take the mark. Okay? Therefore, they will be killed by head being cut off. Okay? Or other ways. There's probably other ways. But they will not take the mark, and so they're going to be persecuted and killed. Okay? But specifically the people that live, these witnesses that are living Jerusalem, they will be made an example to the world. Now, if they are in Jerusalem, and I know lots of people are now going nuts when I say this, these people that are in Jerusalem and are believers and are witnesses, okay, are probably mainly Jews, okay, Jewish believers. Who is killing them? Well, it is the Jewish non-believers, which we know right now are quite many and are extremely angry with the believers, whether they are Jews or not Jews. We know that this happened during the time of Jesus or after Jesus died. Okay, the disciples were persecuted by their own brothers. Okay, by their own brothers. Paul was one of them, formerly Saul, and he persecuted the Christians, the messianic believers. So it will be again. These people will be killed by their own brothers. Okay? And believe me, it is going to happen. And everybody is going to be very happy. Very happy. Now, it can happen, of course, right now in Jerusalem, because Jerusalem has their own rules right now. They have their own government, and therefore they can kill these people. Because they can say, hey, they are anti-Semitic. Oh, they're anti-Israel, state of Israel. So it's very easy to condemn them and to kill them. Because of course they will speak up. They may speak up even against this false temple that may be erected during that time, or may have been erected by the time the wrath starts. Now make no mistake, you know what I have taught about the temple, or a third temple, physical temple. It is an abomination. It's not God's temple, people. Okay? Do not be fooled. But of course, most Christians will be, or so-called Christians that are left over after the rapture. And there will be numerous Christians, so-called Christians left over that have absolutely no idea that they are left behind. Okay? That the rapture has happened, because they will be fooled so badly. They will be fooled so badly. Okay? And they don't mind being deceived, and they will be deceived. Okay? There will be lots of Christians that will be deceived. And I'll guarantee you, these Christians, these fake Christians and these fake Jews, they will cheer that these witnesses and other believers will be killed, because they'll call them loonies. Okay? And they will be killed. And there will be lots and lots of so-called Christians that are still filling the churches that we have today. All the denominations, they are in on this already. They're already bowing down, kissing the hand of the Pope, who is going to be the major person that is going to kill, or gives the okay to kill these witnesses. Again, they're not two witnesses, but they're a group of people. They are a group of people. Okay? Now, I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions, please put them in the comment section. Because I know this topic is very confusing. And I don't want to hear anything about anybody telling me it's Moses, Elijah, Enoch. I used to believe that kind of stuff until I said, I want to know what is going on. Now, I don't know. I still don't know who it is. But I can tell you what the scripture says. Okay? See, we have been so confused to believe it's Enoch and Elijah or Moses or whoever from the Old Testament. Some of the prophets from the Old Testament. Okay? But you know what? These two witnesses have something that we also have. And that is that the Old and the New Testament. They will use just the same kinds of tools that we have today. The New, Old, and New Testament. And they will use that, and they will show these unbelievers and the world who Messiah is. And of course, they will be angry. Why? Because you only will have fake Christians left. fake Christians and fake Jews. The rest is gone, and there's going to be few people. There's not going to be very many who missed the rapture and who are realizing, these foolish virgins that missed the rapture. There's not going to be very many that are realizing, oh, wow, we missed it. Okay, why? Because there's going to be so many false teachers out there. Most people right now are already deceived. They're following already false teachings. Now, I have done videos about it. If you're following dispensationalism or futurism, that is a false teaching. And if you still follow it and you're still having one foot in it, then you're being deceived. And those are the people that will be miserably deceived afterwards. Okay? They will not see it. They will not see what hit them at all. And they will be going through the wrath of God, which will be a horrible time in itself. Okay? The wrath of God will be a horrible time. So people will be scrambling to just make it, just to survive. Okay? The belly goes first. If the belly is not full, okay, then people, they will be doing anything and everything just to get a full belly. Okay? Most people will do anything for a full belly. So we will not have these lukewarm Christians around anymore. I think at that time, it will be extremely obvious who is going to be, of course, a believer and who is not a believer. Because, see, when people are persecuted, then the true false people will always swim along with the major religious stuff that is being told. Okay? And so that will continue like in the Dark Ages, that most people will belong to this fake Christian church. Okay? Fake Catholic Church. Even if you still have fake Protestant church or fake Lutheran or fake, they're all going to bow down to the Pope. Okay? Because they're already starting it. And the true Christians are gone, so there is no more resistance. Okay? So there's going to be a little group of people that will be persecuted severely. Okay? Severely. To the point where they cannot buy or sell. So that will be pretty hard. And this is also, of course, a time when there's going to be this mark of the beast. Okay, that goes along with the same time. And you're going to have to piece that together. Now, I'm going to come to an end because my time is up. And I hope I put everything down that I've written down in my little outline here. But I will also post that on the bottom, my little outline, so you can read that. But please go over this again. And I know this is probably something new that you have not heard. So look at these verses, and as usual, let the Holy Spirit guide you.